All right, my number one record accessory. I'm going to assume, I should never assume anything, but I'm going to assume this is the number one accessory for many of you as well. And that's a record cleaning brush, right? Everyone needs a record cleaning brush or a good record cleaning cloth or some basic way to keep the playing surface on your records clean. This one is my favorite, of course. This is the classic Diswasher brush. I think every family, every household had one of these back in the 70s and the 80s, and that's just because they were affordable and really good. Last time I checked, there was still a version of the Diswasher being made today, I think by RCA, but it's nowhere nearly as good, as effective, or as high quality as the old school ones. You can still find the old school ones on eBay, and if you get lucky, you can find them at garage sales, but the old school ones have this walnut base. There was a hole in the center. You could typically, hold on one second. I'll show you this, because I collect Diswashers. Every time I see one, I get it. And I got a couple in the original boxes as well. But this is the cases that they used to come in back in the day. Diswasher, record care system, D4 system. And I love the way even the box looks like it's made out of walnut. And inside, they're all fairly similar. You had the brush. You had the instructions. Oftentimes I find the instructions just inside this walnut handle. Sometimes I'd also find the brush that you use to clean this. Sometimes I find the fluid in there. Yeah, had all the instructions here. This is the Canadian one, but they're all fairly similar, right? You've got instructions on how to use it. You got the Diswasher fluid. You put on the leading edge and you just kind of put it down on your record and rock it and move in this rocking motion to get the dust off. So the handle of this Diswasher system is made from a single piece of milled walnut in order to complement the elegance and function of the superior record cleaner. That's cool. It's got some other accessories in here. It's got the Zero-Stat anti-static gun. It's got a turntable mat. What else was on here? I never heard of this one. The Pro Disc, a non-polluting system that applies a uniform micro layer of dry film protection onto records to lower distortion and greatly extend record life. I've never seen a Pro Disc. If you have one or had one, let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's how they came packaged. So I'll put this one back together. That's funny, maybe I was wrong. The instructions don't actually fit all the way in there. So that's why it wasn't in there. I got a second one here as well. Oh yeah, the instructions actually fit in this one. That's funny. This one was my dad's, and it was hard. This was practically brand new, man, up until 8 years ago when my dog was still a puppy and got to it and started chewing it. And there's like dog teeth marks and you got this part, so that frustrated me, I'll say that, and that's why since then every time I see a original Diswasher I always grab it. By the way, this video is not sponsored. If I mention any products, they did not pay to be on the video, but Diswashers are sometimes hard to come by nowadays, despite the fact that I got 3 sitting right here. Actually a decent modern day brush that's pretty good as well. It's the Groove Washer. These guys are based out of the US. These are made in the US. Groove Washer, I find these products are pretty good as well. You need, though, I'm kind of cheating here because I'm counting this all as my number one accessory, but if you're going to use a record cleaning brush, you also need a good record cleaning fluid. There are a ton on the market. Since it's talking about the Groove Washer, I'll show you the Groove Washer record cleaning solution. I love it. You spray a bit on here, clean your record, and you're golden. All right, number 2, which one should I go for? Maybe I'm not doing these in any particular order. Zero-Stat. I just mentioned this when I was talking about the Diswasher, but the Zero-Stat anti-static gun. I can no longer live without this. They're not cheap. I bought mine. I got this one maybe 8-9 years ago. At the time, they were around $90 Canadian. I think the price has increased. And people kind of scoff at the price and say, man, does that work? Is that worth the investment? These are 100% totally worth the investment. They are, at least in my experience, the only surefire way to get rid of static on records. And particularly where I live in the wintertime, it gets really dry and that causes really bad static buildup on records. And this always zaps it away, man. Static is bad. It's not only annoying because it clings to your sleeve and the record sleeve and whatnot, but it contributes to that snap, crackle, and pop you hear when you're playing records. So let me show you a quick experiment here. Here's a record, and just to show you how staticky it is, just a Kleenex, a tissue, and it sticks to that record just because it is so staticky. So I will take it off and I'll blast this record with the Zero Stat gun. Check this out. Got to pull and depress the handle really slowly. I usually do 3 blasts around the circumference of the record, and then I'll do the label. I'm not supposed to hear that clicky noise. I'm supposed to do it really slow. I did it too fast. There's a lot of theories online about how to use these and whatnot, so find your own way that works. That works for me. Anyway, so you saw that. The Kleenex stuck to the record. Now I've treated the record, and let's see if that got rid of the static. There we go. Kleenex doesn't stick. So Milty Zero Stat works every time. It's a surefire way to get rid of static. And for me, my number 2 essential record accessory. Just to show there's no trickery, I'll try one more time. Kleenex, letting go of it, falls right off. Okay, number 3. My number 3 most important record accessory. Again, is this in any order? I'm not sure, but let's review what we have. So far, we got a clean record, right? Dust has been removed with a record cleaning brush. We got static has eliminated. Static has been eliminated, so we've done all we can, or done a couple things anyway to minimize or reduce that snap, crackle, and pop. The other thing I would argue is super important is keeping your turntable stylus clean, right? Such a fine point, such a fine needle that's coming in contact with the record playing surface. So even the smallest specks of dust can really ruin your record listening experience, right? When a stylus gets too dusty, the sound can actually get distorted. It's happened to me before. I put a record on, like, why the hell is that music so distorted? And look at the stylus, and it's dirty. And give it a quick clean, and that tends to help things out. My favorite way to get stylus clean is super simple. The traditional way of just using stylus brush with a little bit of fluid. I know some cartridge manufacturers frown upon using fluid on your stylus brush. Some of them just say don't do it. I think Ortophone is one of them. It says don't do it. I still do it. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't use the fluid. I use the fluid. So again, this one is Groove Washer. This video is not sponsored by Groove Washer. There are 1,000,003 similar stylus cleaning brushes that you can get. They all work in a similar way. Here's a little bit of fluid. This fluid, again, is from Groove Washer, SC1 Stylus Cleaning Fluid. The way it works, couple little drops on your stylus brush. Here's your stylus, needle, right? Put it underneath here. Go this way. Lift it down, go this way. Do it a couple times. Never push back on the stylus. You're going to break it. Go forward like that. So essential, absolutely essential. If you're not into using a brush, here's the classic Onzo Zero Dust. There was controversy a year or two back where some people said the Onzo was bad for your needle. I never saw where that went or if there was any resolution to it, but this has worked well for me as well. And these are not inexpensive, but it's from Japan. Basically, you take this off. There's a sticky surface here. Mine's a little dirty. Just clean it with tap water. I got to clean mine. It's like a sticky pad. You put it on your turntable surface. You very carefully bring your tone arm over and using the lever on your turntable. Don't do it manually. Use the lever. Lower your tone arm onto here. Lift it up. Maybe do it a couple times, and it takes all the dust and debris off. For me, it works well. Oops. It comes with this little mirror you can use to get a close-up look at your stylus. Works well for me. Again, there have been warnings about these that they may be bad for your stylus and they can cause damage. I've used one for years, haven't had any issues. So yeah, super important to have a clean stylus. Brush, Onzo Zero Dust, both work well for me. And I narrowed this down to 4 things. So my number 4, which to me is essential, go back a little bit. We got a clean record. We got a record with no static on it. We got a clean stylus. You want to make sure your record stays clean, and you want to make sure, if you can, to minimize the statics, right? You don't want the static to come back. So one of my other essential record accessories is an anti-static inner sleeve. Super popular. This one is Mobile Fidelity, original master sleeves. Bunch of companies make these. Most of these are made at the same factory in China. Vinyl Storage Solutions makes them. Again, I could go through a whole list. There are a ton of similar ones. And again, they are all very similar. Some of them use thicker plastic, some use thinner plastic, but for me, that's absolutely an essential record accessory. Keeps your records clean, and as I said, helps stop that static from coming back. All right, I limited myself to 4, but I'm gonna give myself one bonus here. At the end of the day, I don't think this accessory is necessarily essential or not as essential as the other products I mentioned, but it is important to me. That's having a good protective outer sleeve for your record. I'm saying it's not essential because it's not going to necessarily impact your music listening experience, but a good record sleeve is going to protect your album jacket for years to come, right? It's going to protect your investment. Back in the day, when I was a kid and a teenager, I never sleeved my records. Didn't really make a difference except for cosmetic stuff, but nowadays I'm much more careful with it. My favorite outer sleeves are the ones from Vinyl Storage Solutions. Again, this is not sponsored. They haven't paid me to say that. But I love the Vinyl Storage Solutions dual pocket sleeves, right? One pocket for the jacket, a separate pocket. It's like a kangaroo. Separate pocket at the back for your record. And again, this one, I do have, again, anti-static sleeve. This one is not Mobile Fidelity. This one is... Vinyl Storage Solutions 2 mil sleeve, archival quality, non-scratching, acid-free. So yeah, I can't rank it up as high as the other things because it's not as essential, but to me, having good protective sleeves for your jacket is very important. All right, 33ers, those are my 4 or maybe 5 essential record accessories. What are your essential accessories? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll be back again really soon. Until then, dear 33ers, please keep on spinning.